Good afternoon. My name is Len Akabane. I'm the CEO of MediMags, and we're here to talk to you about big problem facing women all over the world. Currently, over 3 billion women suffer at some point in their lives with menstrual pain. And despite the fact that just in the US and the EU, it's an $8 billion business. The treatment is an $8 billion business, growing in the next 8 years to 15 billion. There are no solutions out there that don't have side effects or are not easy to use. They're cumbersome and they're difficult. The solution to this problem, we have a tested, patented magnetic wristband that brings meaningful pain relief to over 90% of the women that try it. It does so with no side effects. There's no batteries, there's no charging. And the important thing is it is as easy to use as putting on a watch. So the addressable market, because that's a big concern. Just as I said before, in the US and the EU, the period pain treatment market is currently 7 billion. And by 2032, it's expected to be 15 billion. Don't take my words. This is market research future. And what that means, putting it into actual numbers, 251 million women in the US and the EU are suffering from menstrual pain right now. So how does it work? I won't go into all the details, but the basics, we have high-powered neodymium magnets. They're concentric alternating poles, and they actually interact with the median nerve in the PC6 junction. Similar to, some of you may be familiar with wristbands that you can put on, help you keep from getting seasickness, okay? It's the same sort of area. It interacts with the body in the same manner. So the product is made of the Florella band. We have additional bands. We have a silicone band because you can use this while you're exercising. You can put it on and go for a run. We also have a travel case, and that's really important because some women don't know exactly when their pain's going to start. They have an idea, so they can pack this up, they can put it in their purse, they can take it with them. It's designed so it won't interact with keys or credit cards, and when they start feeling the pain, they can put it on. 20 minutes later, they're going to be feeling great. So where are we at this point? We have designed, we have patented, we have tested, and we currently have over $1 million in retail value of product that we're ready to ship. We have multiple licensed patents and we filed our own utility. We also filed with the PCT, which means that in the future we can file in basically any country in the world that we want. It all depends on market size. We've also spent time, we have a TikTok guru on our staff, and we've compiled a list of influencers that are in this space. And this is what's really crucial, because when it comes to advertising, normally you're going out there and you're hoping that people see it, but we have influencers that are already in the space. Their followers are already out there looking for our solution. The competition, in some ways we don't have any because there is no technology like this. However, there's a lot of folks that are in this space because it's a big problem. You have hormone therapy, birth control pills. They're expensive, they have side effects, all kinds of other issues. Obviously, ibuprofen, NSAIDs, heavily marketed, not very effective. There are TENS units, which are specifically supposed to work. The problem is, again, they're just a TENS unit, but they have the unit, they have wires, they have pads, they have consumables you have to keep buying ongoing, and it's not easy to do. You can't just put this on and go to work because you got all this bulky stuff wrapped around your tummy. And then there's a product out there that I actually helped invent and was an investor in called Ziva. It suffers the same problem. It's a compression belt, does a great job, just too cumbersome. The team, co-founder Charlie and Lily Zablotsky, they've been in the therapeutic magnet business for over 30 years. I've been in the business of designing and developing products and doing forensic engineering and working as an expert witness in intellectual property for over 35 years. So the combined team, those are the co-inventors. Currently looking for $500,000, the bulk of which is going to be used to continue to grow our existing marketing plan, working with influencers and also PR groups that can give us, quote, organic press. We've got 150,000 for the next 10,000 that we want to buy, 100 for management, and 50K is going to patent attorneys. They're not cheap. Our outcomes, we want to sell our first $1 million and be able to purchase more product. Financials, our first year, we expect to be able to sell 50,000. That may seem high. However, if you look at that 251 million in the US and the EU, this is a small percentage. We estimate to be profitable in year one.
First of all, you're a great speaker. You're speaking slowly, clearly, concisely. You're confidently, all these things are going to work to your advantage when you're in front of investors. The slide deck needs some work just because it's really text heavy, right? We probably already know that. And more importantly, and this is advice for everybody, you don't want the investor to be reading your deck while you're presenting. You want them to be listening to you, which is why less text is always better. Quickly, be able to consume it and then listen to what you have to say. As for your presentation, I have a bunch of notes here, but the biggest thing, there's kind of two pieces of advice I'd give you. One, when it comes to traction, saying that you have 1 million in inventory doesn't feel like traction. It feels like a problem because you have to unload that inventory. And so the next question is going to be, have you sold any units? And if the answer is no, I'm going to tell you to come back to me. That's what you're going to hear that a lot, right? Come back to me when you sold some.
That was the conversation I had with Ed yesterday. So,
yep.
So it's good to hear that again. And we're addressing that. So thank you.
And so you have these influencer relationships. You have actually done a bunch of the work, but you got to do that sort of last mile of engage with some influencers, see how the product moves, because that is going to be more interesting traction than anything else. The last thing I'll say is try to avoid, and again, this is feedback for everybody, sometimes less is more, and you don't want to disqualify yourself with anything that you say, right? So for example, you mentioned Ziva, I think is the name of the product that you invested in, but then that product, you kind of said it didn't solve the problem. And my question is, why did you then invest in it and build it? Do I need to trust that you build something that will solve the problem since you built something that didn't? So again, obviously, there's a lot more detail there that we don't know. But if it doesn't add to your credibility, I would skip mentioning it altogether. So anything as you go through your deck and your pitch, anything that you say that has even a hint of taken away from your credibility should just be removed. Okay.
Got it.
What you want to do is when you present your deck live, just leave the headers. So if it's 251 million, just have 251 million women. That's it, and talk through it. Glenn, what you did, which was fantastic, was you didn't read your slide. Thank God for that, because then I definitely would have gone to a snooze fest, right? So I could actually tune out the slides and just listen to you and look at the pictures, and it was a cohesive. So you're going to be fine, when you do that. Now, here is how I would have changed. And again, everyone, I can't express this more as we prepare it. I'm glad we're having multiple ones of these so you learn as you go. Do not present the pitch deck that you email to investors. Don't put that up on the screen. It's a different deck, or follow the same order: problem, solution, market. So here's how I would have done it, Glenn. I would have said, I'm sure you all know you have a mother or a spouse or someone who struggles with menstrual pain. What have you seen them go through? And it's an incredible problem. There's 251 million who go through this. And you know what I learned? And this is where you can address what Vadim said. I worked on a product that solved this problem, and we nailed it. Like, it was awesome, right? And women were thanking me, and I was so proud to do this product. And then I realized we could make it better. And I decided, what if we could go from something around the waist to something around the wrist? And that's when I started working on it, and I went to work. You see how that automatically changed it from what Vadim said, why do we care that you work for a competitor and you invested, to now I really care because you are an expert, right? So everyone, learn the art of storytelling, right? And if you would have told that story, because Glenn, I'm telling you right now, like when you just talk to me and you share, it's so much more compelling than when you just went through your slide deck in the order that it was, okay? The final thing is, everyone, don't go through your financial model and everything. And if you want to talk about spin everything. If you want to talk about the millions and you don't have it launched yet, share that you can say things like, we have $1 million worth of product ready to go. And you're probably wondering, how much have we sold? We are just about to launch that. We have a killer strategy. And if you're going to talk about some guy on TikTok, have a picture of that guy on TikTok, right? And show those visuals. So use visual aids and spin that to your advantage. We are ready, and we believe that we can sell. If we sell this $1 million inventory, man, we don't need funding anymore, type thing. We just need to get things going. So get excited about your product and show all the potential that you're going to have. And that's how you spin your pitch deck into a live presentation. All right. But Glenn, you are light years ahead, and you've got all the foundation material. You just got to tweak it. And I think it's going to get better and better.
Okay, appreciate it. So that was one of the questions. I've kept this very text heavy simply because in working and so at some point, that's one of the things that I want to do is because for editing and sharing and talking about it, I didn't want to spend too much time making it. It's easy to edit. I mean, this is iteration number probably 47. Okay. So that's good. The other thing that I like, and that was one of the questions that I was going to have for you, because this is a very personal thing. Okay. We all have mothers, partners, daughters, and just how much of that dealing with an investor, I like the idea of making it very personal and tying it into something that they have an experience with. Because I like that, and that's going to change a lot of what happens here.
Yes. So when I pitched I had something for kids, emotional intelligence, social emotional learning, and I was pitching investors. I just asked them flat out, "Who here has kids? Do you have kids? How old are those kids?" Type thing. And what was it like first day of school for them? Or do you have a niece? Do you have a nephew? If they didn't have kids, I'm like, you got any kids in the family? And I always made sure I understood that reference point. So you can do that, which is great because you have to understand the signal that you're sending. You are a dude, talking about menstrual pain, right? So you definitely want to create that attachment.